Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to fifth part of Real Estate App Development series. In this part, we will implement login user using phone number. So let's start by opening the project in Android Studio. First of all, we will create a new activity. Right click on Activities package, click New Activity and select Empty Views Activity. Type the name of activity, that is login phone activity, since we are going to log in using phone number. After that, make sure to choose the language Kotlin and click finish. Now open login options activity class to add click listener on login using phone. We will do it in on create function binding dot login phone button dot set on click listener start activity intent. This requires two parameters. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the activity we want to start, that is login phone activity. After that, we will start designing the UI for phone login. For that, open activity login phone.xml file. We will replace the constraint layout with the linear layout. Orientation will be vertical and we will create a relative layout in this linear layout to create a custom toolbar. Width will be match parent and height will be 160 dp. ID of the toolbar will be toolbar relative layout. After that, we will set the background of this toolbar, that is available in drawable folder with name toolbar bg02. Now we will create a back button, image button. Width and height will be wrap content and ID of this button will be toolbar back button. Now we need to show an icon in this button that is available in drawable folder with name back white. We need to make background of this button transparent using property background and pass the value of add Android color transparent. We will apply our dynamic color to icon of our button using property name tint with value question mark attribute color on primary. So color of the icon of button will be changed according to the selected theme of device. Now we will create a shapeable image view to show a profile icon. Width will be 70 dp and height will be 70 dp. ID of this image view will be profile image view. Now we will show an icon to this image view that is available in drawable folder with name person black. We will apply dynamic color to the background of this image view that will be changed according to the selected theme of device. Same as we have done for the icon of toolbar back button. For that we will set color as question mark attribute color on primary. Now we need to format the shape of this image view to circle. We already have created a style in styles.xml file with name image style circle. Now we need to place this image view in center horizontal of this relative layout and we need to give margin from top and bottom. For that we will use property layout margin vertical with value of 15 dp. It will give the margin from top and bottom 15 dp. After that we will create another text view with width and height wrap content. ID of this text view will be login phone label TV. After that we will use style property to apply a style to this text view. Style is title medium, which is part of material 3 theme. After that we will set the text to this text view, that is login to your account. We need to move this text view below profile image view using property layout below and pass the ID of profile image view. We also need to place this text view in center horizontal of this relative layout, and alignment of the text will be center. Now we need to apply a dynamic color to this text view that will be changed according to selected theme of device. For that we will apply color using question mark attribute color on primary. Our UI for toolbar is completed. Now we will create a relative layout with width, match parent, and height, wrap content. ID of this relative layout will be phone input relative layout. This relative layout will contain an edit text to input phone number and a button to send OTP. Padding will be 10 dp and visibility will be visible. When this activity starts, phone input layout will be visible. Before proceeding further, we need to add a country code picker library. For that, open the build.gradle file. We will add the library in dependencies section. Link of library is available in description of this video. So open that link to add library. Scroll down. We need to copy the library. Copy and paste it in build.gradle file dependencies section. After that, we need to replace x.y.z with the latest version of the library. For now, it is 2.7.0. Make sure to use the latest version of the library, and implementation style of this library is Groovy. We need to change it to Kotlin. You can copy this style from any of the above library and paste it with this country code picker library. After that, we will update the libraries whose update is available. Just hover to the library and it will show an option to update it to latest version. After that, click sync now button to sync the project with Gradle files. Now we can add country code picker to pick the country code for phone number. Country code picker width and height will be wrap content, and ID of country code picker will be phone code edit text. We need to place the phone number edit text after that country code picker. So we will set margin from top 5 dp and margin from end will be 8 dp. After that we will set gravity to center. Now we also need to set minimum width of this country code picker and value will be 60 dp. Similarly, we will set the minimum height which will be 56 dp. We have done this customization to make it look similar to phone number input edit text. We will enable auto detect country using property CPP auto detect country with value of true. Similarly, we will use property remember last selection with value true, so it will remember the country which was selected last time. Use property show flag with value false to hide country flag, and we also need to hide country name from country code picker using property show name code with value false. We will change the color of text of this country code picker. The color is available in colors.xml file with name color gray 01. We had created this color in colors.xml file in one of previous videos. To input the phone number, we will create a text input layout with width match parent and height will be wrap content. ID of this text input layout will be phone number text input layout. After that, we will use style property to apply a style to this text input layout. The style will be outline box that is part of Material 3 theme. After that, we need to place this text input layout to end of country code picker using the property layout to end of and pass the ID of country code picker. Now we need to set hint to this text input layout, which is phone number. To show an icon in start of this text input layout, we will use property start icon drawable. and the icon is available in drawable folder with name phone black. We need to make each edge of this text input layout with rounded corners, so we will use property box corner radius top start 8 dp, box corner radius top and 8 dp, box corner radius bottom start 8 dp, box corner radius bottom and 8 dp. This will make each edge of text input layout with rounded corners 8 dp. Now we need to create an edit text inside that text input layout that will be used to input phone number. Edit text width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. ID of this edit text will be phone number edit text. We need to change the ID of text input layout from phone number edit text to phone number text input layout. The input type of edit text will be phone since user need to input phone in this text input layout. After that, we need to create a button that user will click to send OTP to input number. Material button width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. ID of this button will be send OTP button. Now we need to move this button below phone number input layout using property layout below and pass the ID of phone number text input layout. After that we will set margin from top 10 dp. After that we will give a minimum height to this button that we have defined in diamonds.xml file with name mbutton height. Now we will set the text to this button. The text will be send OTP. Our layout to input phone number and send verification code is completed. Now we will create another relative layout to input OTP and verify OTP and resend OTP. Width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. ID of this relative layout will be OTP input relative layout. Padding of this relative layout will be 10 dp. We also need to assign visibility to this relative layout. For now, visibility is visible. When activity starts, this relative layout will be invisible. When OTP is sent, then this relative layout will be visible. To input the OTP, I have created text input layout with width match parent and height wrap content. I have set the ID to OTP text input layout. After that, we will use style property to apply a style to this text input layout. The style is outline box, which is part of Material 3 theme. Since user need to enter OTP, so hint will be OTP. We will use start icon drawable property to show an icon in start of this text input layout. The icon is available in drawable folder with name phone black. Now we will make each edge of this text input layout with rounded corners using properties box corner radius top start 8 dp, box corner radius top and 8 dp, box corner radius bottom start 8 dp, box corner radius bottom and 8 dp. Firebase OTP is fixed to 6 digits, so we will enable the counter using property counter enabled with value true, and another property will be counter max length with value 6. Now we will create an edit text inside this text input layout. Edit text width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. ID of this edit text will be OTP edit text. Since user need to input OTP in this edit text, which is of type number, so input type will be number. Since user need to enter 6 digits in this edit text, so we will use property max length with value 6. So user will not able to enter more characters than 6. To verify the OTP, we need to create a button, material button. Width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. ID of this button will be verify OTP button. Verify OTP button. Let's set the minimum height to this button that we have defined in diamonds.xml file with name mbuttonHeight. After that, we will use property layout below to move this button below the OTP text input layout. Now we will set margin from top, and margin from top will be 10 dp, and the text of this button will be verify OTP, since user need to click this button to verify OTP. We also need to allow user to resend OTP. For that, we will create a text view with width and height wrap content. ID of this text view will be resend OTP TV. After that, we will apply a style to this text view. This style is label medium, which is part of Material 3 theme. Now, we need to move this text view below the verify OTP button using property layout below, and padding of this text view will be 5 dp. We need to place this text view in center horizontal of this relative layout using property layout center horizontal with value true, and we will set the text to this text view. The text is did not receive OTP resent. We need to make the word resent bold. For that, we will move this text to strings.xml file over to the text and click extract string resource. Type the resource name and click OK. It will move the text to strings.xml file. Make sure to enclose the word resend inside the tag that is used to make string bold. This property is used in HTML. Now close this file and open activity login phone.xml file again. Our UI part is now completed. To make it more easy to understand for you, I have also placed the comments. Now open login phone activity class file. First of all, we need to use view binding to bind the activity login phone.xml file with our activity class. Private let init var binding, which is of type activity login phone binding. We will initialize it in onCreate function before set content view. Binding equal to activity login phone binding dot inflate. This requires a parameter that is layout inflator, and in set content view, instead of r dot layout dot, we will pass binding dot root. To show logs in logcat for debugging purpose, we will create a constant in class level private value tag equal to login phone tag. So whenever we need to show logs in logcat, we will use this as tag name. To show progress by logging and saving user info, we need to create progress dialog. We will declare it in class level private let init var progress dialog, which is of type progress dialog. We will initialize it in onCreate function. Progress dialog equal to progress dialog. This requires a parameter of type context. After that, we will set the title of progress dialog. Progress dialog dot set title, and the title will be please wait. And to disable dismissing dialog, when user touches outside of the progress dialog, we need to use a function that is set cancelled on touch outside and pass value false. By default, its value is true, so if we want to disable, we need to pass value false. Now we need to create instance of FirebaseAuth private let init var FirebaseAuth, which is of type FirebaseAuth. We will initialize it in onCreate function. FirebaseAuth equal to FirebaseAuth.get instance. Our phone login method is divided into two parts. First part is to input phone number and second part is to input OTP. So in start of this activity, we will show the layout to input phone number and hide the layout to input OTP. Binding dot phone input relative layout dot visibility equal to view.visible. Similarly, we will make the OTP input relative layout invisible. Binding.otp input relative layout dot visibility equal to view.gone. After that, we will add click listener on back button that is placed in toolbar. Binding.toolbar back button dot set on click listener. Inside that click listener, we will call the function finish. So when user click this button, it will move to previous activity. To allow user to resend the OTP, we are going to create an instance of a class private variable force resending token, which is of type phone auth provider dot force resending token. We will initialize it in on code send function of phone login callback. Now we will declare the callback in class level private let init var m callbacks, which is of type on verification state changed callbacks. To hold the verification ID, we are going to create another variable private variable and name it as mVerificationID, which will be of type string. For now, the value will be null. We will initialize it in onCodeSend function of onLogin callback. Now we will create a separate function to initialize and handle callbacks. Private function phone login callback. Phone login callback. Inside this function, we will handle the callbacks of login process. Instead of writing value, we need to write the function. Now we will call this function in onCreate function after initializing the FirebaseAuth. Now come again in phone login callback function and initialize the callback. mCallbacks equal to object that is on verification state changed callbacks and create body of this. Inside that function, we will implement the methods. Hover to the object and click implement members. Select both functions and click OK. This has implemented two functions. On verification completed function will be called in two situations. First situation is instant verification. In some cases, the phone number can be instantly verified without needing to send or enter a verification code. The second condition is auto retrieval. On some devices, Google Play services can automatically detect the incoming verification SMS and perform verification without user action. We had implemented another function that is on code sent. This function will be called when OTP is successfully sent. Also make sure to rename the parameters of these functions in more readable form. For example, the phone auth credential parameter should be renamed as phone auth credential, and in on verification failed, Firebase exception parameter should be exception, and to make it more short, we can just write E. Now come again in on code send function and add a log. Now we will initialize the mVerification ID with the value that is available as parameter of this function. Now we will initialize the force resending token. Force resending token equal to token. Token is available as parameter of this function. Since this function will be called when OTP is sent, so we will dismiss the progress dialog, and after that we will hide the phone input layout and show the OTP input layout. Binding.phone input relative layout dot visibility equal to visibility dot gone, and binding.otp input relative layout dot visibility equal to view dot visible. Now we will add a click listener on send OTP button. Binding.otp button send OTP button dot set on click listener. Before sending the OTP, we need to do the validation of phone number. For that purpose, we will create a separate function, private function validate data, and make sure to call this function inside click listener of send OTP button. After that, we will create three variables of type string, private variable phone code to hold the phone code. For now, we will initialize it with empty string. Another variable will be phone number. This variable will contain the phone number, and another variable will be phone number with code. This variable will hold the complete phone number including phone code and phone number. Let's get the selected phone code from country code picker. Phone code equal to binding dot phone code edit text dot selected country code with plus. For example, if the country is Pakistan, then phone code will be +92. Phone number equal to binding dot phone number edit text dot to string dot trim. Trim function removes white spaces if there are any. After that, we will initialize the phone number with code variable. Phone number with code equal to phone code plus phone number. So it will combine the phone code and phone number. Now we will create separate logs for each variable. Log.d, first parameter is the tag and second parameter is the message we want to show in logcat. We will concatenate the value of variable along with hardcoded string. As you know, we can show value of variable within string using $symbol. Now we will create another log.d and print the value of phone number with code. $phone number with code. After that, we will start validating the data. That is to check if user has entered the phone number or not. For that, we will create if statement phone number dot is empty. This condition will be called if user has not entered anything in phone number input field. In that case, we will set error to phone number edit text. Binding dot phone number edit text dot error equal to, and error message will be enter phone number. We also need to move the focus and cursor to phone number edit text using binding dot phone number edit text dot request focus. After that, we will create an else statement which will be called if user has entered the phone number. In that case, we will start sending the OTP to input phone number. For that purpose, we will create a separate function, private function start phone number verification. Before doing anything else, we need to call this function in else statement of validate data function. Start phone number verification, and we will show progress dialog while sending the OTP. Progress dialog dot set message, and the message is sending OTP to $phone number with code. After setting message to progress dialog, we will show progress dialog using progress dialog dot show. Now we need to set up the data using phone auth options class value options equal to phone auth options dot new builder. This will require a parameter of type FirebaseAuth which we have declared in class level and initialized it in onCreate function. To set the phone number, we will call the function set phone number, and we will pass the phone number that is available in phone number with code variable. The next function to be called is .set timeout. This function requires two parameters. First parameter is of type long, that is time, and second parameter is of type time unit. To define time unit, we will define time unit as time unit dot seconds. So it will try for 60 seconds to send OTP. If it fails to send OTP within 60 seconds, it will call on verification failed function. After that, we have attached our activity using .set activity, and the next method to be called is dot set callbacks, and we have declared the callbacks in class level and initialized it in phone login callback function. After that we have called the function dot build. Now we need to call function verify phone number that is part of phone auth provider class. Phone auth provider dot verify phone number, and we will pass options as parameter. Now we will add click listener on resend OTP TV. Binding dot resend OTP TV dot set on click listener. Before sending the OTP, we need to check if force resending token is not null, then we will send the OTP. If force resending token not equal to null, then we will start sending the OTP. For that, we will create a separate function, private function resend verification code. The force resending token is initialized in onCodeSend function. Now we will call this function in its statement resend verification code. We will add another else statement that is to handle if force resending token is null. In that case, we will show a toast to user myutils.toast. This requires two parameters. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the message we want to show, that is can't resend OTP, try again. Now move to resend verification code function. The process to resend OTP is similar to sending the OTP. So we will just copy the code and paste it in resend verification code function. After pasting the code, the only change we need to do with our code is to call another function, that is dot set force resending token, and we will pass the parameter force resending token. Now we will create another function to verify phone number and start login process. Private function verify phone number with code. In this function we will verify the phone number using OTP. This function will require a parameter of type string, that is OTP. Now we will add click listener on verify OTP button. Binding dot verify OTP button dot set on click listener. First of all, we need to input the OTP value. OTP equal to binding dot OTP edit text dot text dot text dot to string, and also call the function dot trim to trim white spaces. Now we need to check if user has input the OTP or not. If OTP dot is empty, this condition will be called if user has not input any character in OTP edit text. In that case, we will set error to OTP edit text. Binding dot OTP edit text dot error equal to enter OTP. We also need to move focus cursor to OTP edit text using binding dot OTP edit text dot request focus. We will add another condition to check if user has input the OTP with 6 digits. Else if OTP dot length less than 6, this condition will be called if user has input less digits than 6 length. In that case, we will set error to OTP edit text. Binding dot OTP edit text dot error equal to OTP length must be 6 characters. Also call binding dot OTP edit text dot request focus. Now we will add an else statement that will be called if user has input the OTP and length is 6. In that case, we will call the function verify phone number with code and pass parameter OTP. After that, come again in verify phone number with code function And in start, we will display the OTP in logcat using log.t. We will concatenate the value of OTP with hard-coded string, and after that we will show the progress dialog, and before we will set message to progress dialog, that is verifying OTP, and progress dialog dot show. After that we will set up the credential using OTP and verification ID value credential equal to phone auth provider dot get credential. This requires two parameters. First parameter is the verification ID and second parameter is OTP. This function requires not null type of parameters, so we will make verification ID as not null. To start signing process with this credential, we will create a separate function, private function, and the function name will be sign in with phone auth credential. Since we are going to log in using phone number, so this function will require a parameter of type phone auth credential. So whenever we need to call this function, we will pass the phone auth credential as parameter. So let's create the parameter and name the parameter as credential, which is of type phone auth credential. Now we will call this function in verify phone number with code function and pass credential as parameter. We also need to call this function in on verification completed function, but first come in on code send function and show the toast to user myutils.toast. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the message we want to show, that is OTP sent to phone number with code. We will also change the text of text view in toolbar. Binding dot login phone label tv dot text equal to please type verification code sent to and concatenate the phone number dollar phone number with code. After that come in on verification completed function. This function will be invoked in two situations. First situation is instant verification and second situation is auto retrieval. Now we will call the function sign in with phone auth credential and pass the parameter phone auth credential that is available as parameter of on verification completed function. In on verification failed callback, we need to dismiss progress dialog using progress dialog dot dismiss. We also need to show the exception message to user using toast myutils.toast, which requires two parameters. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the message we want to show. We will use hard-coded message failed to verify due to and concatenate the exception message in this string. Now come to sign in with phone auth credential function and create a simple log.t. So when this function is called, the log will be printed in logcat. Before starting signing process, we will show progress dialog. Before showing progress dialog, we need to set the message to progress dialog. Progress dialog dot set message and the message is logging in. And now we can show progress dialog using progress dialog dot show. Now we will call the method from FirebaseAuth, FirebaseAuth dot sign in with credential, and this method requires a parameter of type credential, that is phone auth credential, which is available as parameter of this function. After that we will add success listener using dot add on success listener. This function will be called if sign in process is successfully done, and I have renamed the parameter as auth result. After that we will add the dot add on failure listener callback function, which will be called if there is any exception while sign in process. I have also renamed the parameter as e, which is of type exception. Now come again in add on success listener function and create a simple log.d to print a simple message to logcat. Similarly, we have created a log.e in add on failure listener function and added the e as third parameter. So it will print the exception in logcat. After that, we have dismissed the progress dialog using progress dialog.dismiss. We also need to show a message to user using toast myutils.toast. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the message we want to show. And we got the exception message from exception parameter of add failure listener function. After that, in add on success listener function, we also need to check if the person trying to sign in is new or existing. For that purpose, we have created a condition if auth result dot additional user info dot is new user. This condition will be called if user is trying to sign in first time. In that case, we will consider this user is trying to create a new account. And we will also show a message to logcat and the message is account created. And else statement will be called if a user trying to sign in is an existing user. In that case, we will move to main activity, start activity, intent. This requires two parameters. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the activity we want to start, that is main activity. Also make sure to call the function finish affinity to clear the activity backstack. In case of new user, we also need to save the user info to Firebase real-time database. For that purpose, we are creating a separate function, private function update user info, and we need to call this function in if statement. And while saving user info, we also need to show progress dialog. And before doing that, we need to change the message of progress dialog dot set message. And since we are saving user info, so the message of progress dialog will be saving user info. Right after that, we will show progress dialog using progress dialog dot show. Before saving user info, we need to set up the data to be saved, and we also need to save the timestamp, which is of type long. Value timestamp equal to myutils.timestamp. Timestamp is a function in myutils class that was created in one of previous videos. This function get and return the timestamp of device. To save the UID of signed in user, we are going to create another value registered user UID equal to FirebaseAuth.uid. We will use the hash map to set up data in form of key values. Value hash map equal to hash map. The key will always be of type string, so we will use the keyword string, and value can be of any type, so we have used the keyword any. Now we will put the data in hash map one by one by starting the UID. So the key name is UID and the value will be the UID of logged in user, that is registered user UID. It requires not null value, so we will put this symbol that denote this value is not null. After that, we will put the email. Since user is registered using phone number, so we don't have the email yet. That's why we have used empty string as value. The next key is the name with empty value. After that, we will put the timestamp, and as a value, we will use the timestamp that we have got above. This timestamp is of type long. After that, we need to put the phone number, and we have divided phone number in two parts. First part is phone code that is available in the variable phone code, and second part is phone number. The key name will be phone number, and the value is available in variable with name phone number. Next data to be saved is profile image URL. Profile image URL, and since we don't have profile image yet, so we will initialize it with empty string. After that, we will include the DOB, which is date of birth, which will also have the empty string as value. Now we also need to store the user type. There are three types of user which are defined in myutils class as constant. Since user is creating the account using phone number, so user type will be phone. myutils dot user type phone. The last key is named as token, which will hold the FCM token, which will be used to send push notifications. For now, we have passed the empty string as value. Okay, our data to be saved in Firebase real-time database is ready. Now we will start saving in Firebase real-time database. For that, we will create instance of Firebase database value reference equal to Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference. This requires a parameter in which we define the path in which data of user will be saved, that is user. In this reference, we will create another child that will be the UID of the registered user UID, and after that we will call the function set value, and as a parameter we will pass hash map. Now we will add on success listener callback function that will be called if user data is successfully saved in Firebase real-time database. In that case, first of all, we will show a simple message in logcat using log.d. The message is user info saved. After that, we will dismiss the progress dialog using progress dialog.dismiss, and we'll move to main activity class using start activity intent, and this requires two parameters. First parameter is context and second parameter is the activity we want to start, that is main activity. After that, make sure to call function finish affinity to clear activity backstack. After that, we have called .add on failure listener callback function, which will be called if there is any exception while saving user info. In that case, we have shown exception to logcat using log.e, and pass the exception parameter as third parameter in log.e. And after that, we have dismissed the progress dialog. Now we also need to show exception message to user using toast. myutils.toast. First parameter is context and second parameter is the message we want to show. We will include exception message from exception parameter of .add on failure listener. Our code is now completed, so run the app in real device and copy the value of tag and open logcat and paste as tag. So it will filter and show only those logs which are printed using this tag. After running the project, we will start testing our app. Click continue with phone number button and click back button. Click continue with phone number button again. Now we will test country code picker. We can do it by choosing country code from list, or we can also search it using search view. Now without entering phone number, click send OTP button. It will show error. After that, enter a proper phone number and click send OTP. This will take some time to send OTP to input number. Make sure to add SHA1 in your Firebase project setting, and you also need to enable phone auth method in Firebase authentication. Otherwise, phone login will not work. After some time, it will send the OTP to your phone number via SMS. When OTP is successfully sent, the phone number input layout will be invisible and OTP input layout will be visible. Copy the OTP and paste it in OTP edit test. Before testing verify OTP, we will test the resending OTP. For that purpose, click the resend OTP to check if it is successfully sending the OTP or not. In some situations, user does not receive OTP. In that case, we click resend OTP to resend the OTP. Copy the newly received OTP in OTP edit text and click verify OTP button. In first step, it will verify the phone number. In second step, it will sign in. And in third step, it saves the user info to Firebase real-time database. You will see the phone number in Firebase authentication by refreshing the user list. Okay, testing is successfully done by my side. You are free to comment in case of any problem, and we will continue from here in next part.